Our next storyteller is originally from Tennessee, but grew up in Raleigh, an avid cyclist and a law student at Central. Please welcome to the stage to tell a story called Change is Mentality, Vicki Pugh.
Tell some funny story about a hangover I had, and then I realized that all my hangover stories are laying on the couch being miserable. And so I thought, really all the fun happens the night before, like when you pay a rickshaw driver to carry your roommate up 3 flights of stairs because she just can't do it that night. So instead I decided to tell a story about change, and I think the most significant change that I've made in my life happened back in 2012. It was November of 2012. I even remember when it was. I had, of course, a particularly rough night, drinking, smoking cigarettes, and I woke up the next morning and I felt like crap. And I was like, what am I doing to myself? This is terrible. Can't breathe. And so I did what any reasonable person would do, and I went vegan, quit smoking, quit drinking, went on a 3-day juice fast, started running, started biking, and probably a million other changes that I made. And I just woke up that morning and decided I'm just going to do all these things. And, since then I have started drinking again and drinking caffeine, but I abstained for 30 days, but I quit drinking. And I've kept up with the veganism, and it's been really great to make that change, and I've since then run, and I've done a couple of races, a couple half marathons, 10Ks, 5Ks, things like that, a couple of metric centuries. But I think that the most thing that I've enjoyed about making that big change is kind of inspiring others to get on a bike, or to quit smoking, or to make whatever change that they really want to make. And, I started law school about a year later, and in my second year of law school, I read this case, Wickard v. Filburn. And probably not familiar with this case, it's really not that interesting, but to me it was really interesting because it was this case, I think it was back in the 40s, when there was a wheat shortage, and the government said, okay, you guys can only grow so much wheat. You can only sell so much wheat, because they were trying to control the price of wheat. And this guy up in Montana or something like that, he grew too much wheat, and he wasn't selling it. He was only using it for himself, and he ended up getting a fine. And they went all the way up to the Supreme Court, and he said, this doesn't make any sense. I'm using this for myself. I'm not really affecting the economy. And the government said, actually, if everybody grew wheat for themselves, in the aggregate, your impact would impact the entire nation. And, the government really wouldn't control something so small unless they were really scared of it. And it kind of made me realize that when you make a change in yourself, and then you inspire other people to make that change, then in the aggregate, that change starts to grow. When you tell one person to get on a bike, and they get on a bike, and they tell somebody to get on a bike, and they get on a bike, eventually everybody's biking, and then we have bike lanes on Hillsborough Street. And you tell people to eat healthier, and guess what happens? More and more health food stores start popping up, and more and more fast food places start offering healthier options, and you think you're just one person, and that you're just, me not eating meat isn't going to make an impact on the meat industry, or me getting on a bike isn't going to make an impact on the environment. But in the aggregate, it does, because you inspire others, and those people inspire others, and so on and so forth. And so, I guess I got up here to tell this story to maybe inspire you to make that change. Because back before I made my change, I had this mentality that I'm not really that unhealthy. There's people that are way more unhealthier than I am, right? But then I realized something about that mentality is, as you get older, the mentality stays the same, but your health declines. And so that's why I always am on this journey of improving myself and, you know, trying to let other people improve themselves and inspire them. And I think the best time to make a change is yesterday, but the second best time is today. So I hope that I've inspired you, but if you do decide to wait until New Year's to make a change, then I will leave you with 2 good tips. The first one is a really good hangover cure for me personally is pho, because it's spicy and makes you drink a lot of water. And for the previously mentioned roommate who had to be carried up 3 flights of stairs, her favorite hangover cure was laying in the bathtub naked eating popsicles. Thank you.